So next it was F, which also received its world premiere, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a hoodie horror film. A teacher played by David Schofield is kind of insulting a pupil basically in class, and the pupil headbutts him. It cuts to a disciplinary kind of meeting where the teacher's being told that they basically want to put the kid back in his class to avoid being sued. The teacher kind of refuses this, and it cuts to 11 months later. The teacher's basically an alcoholic, goes into work drunk all the time. He's kind of lost any kind of connection with his daughter, and then somehow his daughter and a bunch of other random people are stuck in the school as a bunch of mysterious hoodies invade and attack. Noel, do you want to start?
Yeah, it got a great reaction from the crowd. I think it's fair to say it went down very well. The director seemed very, very likeable, very nice guy. They had a good number of cast members there, including, what's the guy called?
David Schofield.
David Schofield.
Yeah.
Including him there after the actual film, that Q&A session with them.
Yeah, which I've actually filmed the entirety of and will be about somewhere. I should just say, sorry.
But yeah, that Q&A session afterwards was great. He really, David Schofield really shone in that. Had some really nice funny lines. As for the film itself, as I say, it went down really well. I'm not convinced, like, it went down really, really well. And like for me, you know, it went down like a 9 out of 10 movie, but for me it was, you know, a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It was a good film, and at that point it was the best that we'd seen thus far at Frightfest. It's slick, it's really nicely put together. One thing I particularly liked was the movement of the hoodie kids. They were I said that for me it reminded me a little bit, in a strange way, it reminded me a little bit of like Aliens, or certain sequences in Aliens where you've got a very slick moving sort of thing in the background that's just kind of creeping about while you've got characters in the foreground.
Yeah.
There was a few moments like that just felt a little bit like that, and it was really, really well done. The score is something that you picked up on, which, you know, you can elaborate on, but I absolutely agree. It was a fantastic score. And it was an interesting story, and it was my first story of the day. It was an interesting story. It was slick. It was well put together. It was British. It had great talent in it. It had some hot people in it, which is always great. And yeah, I was impressed. I liked it. As I say, I don't tend to score films, but it was as I say, a kind of a 6 out of 10 film.
Yeah.
But I was quite stunned with just how popular it was. Maybe it's because, you know, like us, there's probably a lot of people out there that feel like they maybe haven't had a great movie yet. So, you know, maybe that's why.
I think most that reaction could have been maybe amped up a bit more because of what he said before the film showed.
Yeah.
Because the guy was petrified.
Yeah.
He was really, really nervous, and it seemed like the audience warmed up to him and thought, instead of giving him a warm reception, we'll give him a fucking red hot reception, and then get his blood pumping for the Q&A.
I think that's fairly typical of the Frightfest crowd, though. You're not like, you know, I was at a screening for Splintered in London a few weeks back. I was at a screening in London for Splintered a few weeks back, which is, you know, it's a room full of critics, and it's just absolutely silent, and everybody's just so stern-faced and really say, you're not going to get that at Frightfest. Everybody wants, you know, people want things to be good, and people really like want to get behind things. So, you know, if you get a director up on stage and he genuinely seems like a nice bloke and he's a bit worried, will people like my movie? They're really going to want to support him, they're really going to want to get behind him, and especially if it's a British film, which of course it is. So yeah, that was good to see, and it was good that everybody felt like they had a great time. It was a nice packed theatre, it seemed like everybody had a good time, and I absolutely had a good time with it. As I say, at that time, that was probably the best that I'd seen so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good. I thought it was a decent little thriller, which I think pretty much kind of sums it up. I mean, it was interesting. Before the film started, the director Johannes Roberts, I think his name was, or something like that, was saying that the film was uncompromising. I think with it, and he was saying that he did say specifically with the writing, which I do agree with, and the ending of the film is pretty fucking dark.
Yeah.
And was pretty fantastic actually, and it kind of wrapped up the character arc pretty satisfyingly, but not in a way that you quite expect. But I was a little bit annoyed really with the fact that it was certified an 18 by the BBFC, and the BBFC logo actually came up at the start, and some people cheered the fact that it was an 18. It's one of the weakest 18s I've seen in quite some time, and it kind of gives further evidence to murmurs that the BBFC are starting to get a bit stricter again. With Serbian film "I Spit on Your Grave," the controversies surrounding those at Frightfest, some people have been kind of saying, are the BBFC starting to get a little bit more cut happy? And yeah, like I say, on a good day I could see that film getting a 15. There's only one really, really gory image, which is ruined by the marketing of the film. I really hope when they start doing trailers for it that they don't spoil that image, because so far it has been. But apart from that, there's not really anything. And the thing is, he says it's not uncompromising, but you'll have the hoodies attack someone and it will just cut away to someone else, and then you might see the aftermath, but you don't see the actual anything. And the film builds up pretty slowly, and I was waiting and waiting, and I never quite got that hit that I was looking for out of it. But saying that, the direction's pretty fucking good. The set pieces are interesting. I love Noel's point about the way they move like aliens. The way they kind of just like sleek about in the background or jump about all over the place like silently is awesome. Yeah, I was gonna kind of say a mild spoiler, but I won't. There was someone else I wanted to say. Yeah, the score. He actually mentioned in the Q&A that it was kind of influenced by Carpenter and Argento. You can see the Argento straight up. Reminded me very much of the Suspiria score, kind of like the la, 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 la. In the background. There's a lot of that in this film, and that's pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's probably only a one watcher, but it was a good time in the cinema. I'll say that. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend it for a cinema watch. And as you say, Noel, I mean, like British made stuff. You know, it's nice to see slickly made, looks good on a big screen British stuff, and also they use the set of this school really, really well. It feels like a school, and it looks like an English school completely. And I really, really enjoyed that. It was. Yeah, it was pretty fucking good. I think the crowd was a little bit more amped up than I think they might have otherwise have been, but I thought it was good.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, more of what you guys said really. The hoodies as they were. I mean, what I liked about them was, I mean, I didn't get I do get the alien reference, but with me, they felt very. Primal in a way, and it just seemed that always seemed to hunt in packs. They always not one of them was off trying to beat. There was always two of them somewhere.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
And actually, one would maybe run in front of him. He would turn around, and another one would come behind him, and it was sort of like it stupidly. Some parts reminded me of sort of like Jurassic Parky, where you've got like them raptors when they're coming round and stuff like that. But definitely, I thought the cast was. I thought David Schofield did a great job.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
The centre performance, and I don't know the guy who played the security guard's name, but I thought he was actually all right. He got a few laughs.